preparing for another big game. Your thoughts going into Saturday?
Well, Memphis is playing very, very well right now with another win last night. That makes 3 in a row for them. Obviously, a great environment to play in with the sellout crowds that they've had this year. So we're going to have to play extremely well. Hopefully, we'll be able to build on our big win on Saturday and our win on the road the week before. But we're going to have to do every aspect of the game, from our transition game, our defense, and our offense a little bit better to play against the talent that Memphis is able to put on the court.
You've been really limiting teams the last 3 games, I think, allowing like 55 points. I mean, how beneficial is that?
Well, defensively, for the most part, we've been pretty good. We weren't in game 1 against Memphis as good defensively in the second half. Didn't play with the physicality that you need to play with against a team like that. But in the last 3 games, we've done a better job on the glass, better job of just limiting the other team's paint touches, not being able to get either the ball in the post or the ball into the lane on drives. And the intensity that we've played with on defenses at times kind of jump-started our offense as well. So we're going to have a great defensive game, and we're going to have to do some things very well on the offensive end also.
From what you've seen of Memphis lately, how different are they without DJ Jeffries?
Well, they've downsized quite a bit, and Thomas has played extremely well for them. Obviously, a high-level player coming out of high school that started off at Louisville, was in the Atlanta area, so I got to see him play when he was a young player. But 2 out of the last 3 games, he almost single-handedly won them the game. Has given them another 3-point threat. He hit 2 of them again last night. So maybe a little more has been asked from some other guys. Quinones has played very well, and he's played great at home this year for him. So, maybe at times other guys have had to step up, and I think maybe that urgency has really helped them over the last couple of weeks.
I guess you rode the high of the UCF game for a little bit, but looking at the next few games in your schedule, you can't exactly live on that.
No. In this league, it's the old 24-hour rule. We felt good Saturday night and Sunday morning, and then started preparing on Sunday night. And it's interesting the way the schedules work out. This week we spent the first half of the week just strictly on individual skill development, and got on the road quite a bit this week also. And now we go to our normal two-day prep for the game. But you look at, if you start looking at the next game and the next game, you'd have a lot of sleepless nights. So we just worry about having a really good practice today and trying to prepare for Saturday. And then next week is for sure to come, so we'll take that challenge when it gets here.
Do you have an update on Mike?
Mike has been good the last 2 days. So today will be the first, full contact practice. But he looks pretty good. So hopefully he'll be able to do a little more today and then a little bit more tomorrow and be ready to go on Saturday.
Zach Dawson.
Go ahead.
So play. Zach Dawson's a guy that's hit, I think, double-digit points through the last 4 games. Just kind of how have you seen his game grow since even coming here as a transfer last year, kind of sitting out to what the impact he's made this year?
Yeah, the one thing with Zach, and I've said it a couple times earlier, it's a challenge because he basically missed 2 years of just competing in games. So when game situations come up, especially at this level and especially now in league play, it's something that he's never been through before. But his consistency, his daily work habits, the understanding that he is very talented and he's only, I believe, scratching the surface. I know that. Now the challenge is for him to know that and for him to, to keep working on his game and to go through some game time mistakes that you have to go through. But I think his future is really bright, and you start to see when we get him offensively in the flow of things, he makes a big difference in our team.
Another big difference maker in that game was Antune. His physical play and everything. Just how pleased are you with his play lately?
Well, you look over the last month, he's really made a big impact on us. being able to run some offensive sets to get him the ball, score around the basket. He's shooting good from the 15, 17-foot range as well. I think the guys really trust him. It's been a good combination between him and Mike. And then, like he's, going into Saturday's game, it wasn't, until an hour and a half before the game that we found out Mike wasn't going to be able to play. And we didn't skip a beat, and that's to Antoon's credit. We do kind of look at him as a starter for us in terms of the impact that he's making, in particular over the last month.
After the loss to Memphis, in your post-game comments, you talked about one of the things that hurt you was that Memphis was able to get behind your defense. They're so athletic, so explosive. How do you stop them from getting behind your defense?
Well, I think the point of pressure on the ball is a key, so they don't have the time and space to make some of those passes. And then you got to do a great job of getting secondary help from the backside. And that secondary help has to be really, really physical, because there is no room for soft defense around the basket on Memphis, because they'll make you pay. Obviously you got to limit them to one shot, and if you can keep them on top of you, it gives you a better chance to rebound the ball. So the one change is they've been shooting so much better from the three. Boogie Ellis is really shooting the ball well. As I mentioned, Quinones is shooting the ball well, and having Thomas now another threat from the three has really added the dimension, because you always have Harris that's dangerous and so volatile in his scoring ability, and he really hurt us in the first game as well. But at times too, our offense hurt us. Some turnovers that led to easy baskets on their end, or some tough shots that got us kind of out of our alignment defensively in transition. It was kind of a mixture of both, but you're going to give up some because they're just so good, and you just can't give up the easy ones.
With Memphis being one of the youngest teams in the country, how do you exploit some of their freshman inexperience?
You see it a little bit more, and you've heard people talk. They may be young in terms of the college experience, but those freshmen aren't like the freshmen of 10 years ago. They're a lot different, physically a lot different. Played a lot of games, obviously, on the AAU circuit and travel ball and high school and national teams and different things like that. But at the same time, you see some of the statistics that show that they are a younger team. Their turnover rate, different things like that. So you have to be really solid, and you have to be really disciplined with that. In our starting lineup, we'll have, two sophomores, a freshman, a junior, and a senior. So we're not the most experienced group either, coming off the bench with young guys also. But you have to do a really good job of staying disciplined to your game plan for 40 minutes. And they're so explosive at times, they get you out of what you want to get done. And sometimes you get into up and down game, which they're really good at, and probably better than most teams. So you got to be really disciplined in when you run and when you hold it off and make them play in the half court.